If you've ever wanted to make French bakery quality croissants at home, then this beginner's guide is for you. First, we're going to start with our wet ingredients. That means water, milk, and our yeast. First, we're going to add our milk, then add our yeast on top. We're going to give that a little bit of stir with a whisk to make sure it's all combined fully. And who remembers these Hercules plates that you used to get from McDonald's in a Happy Meal? We're just going to slap that on top and let it proof for about 10 minutes. Now we're going to go on with our wet ingredients. So we're going to get our scale, get about 600 or so grams of flour. I went over a little bit here. We're going to add our 66 grams of sugar and then top it off with our 12 grams of salt. We're going to give that a little stir to combine, and then we're going to add our wet ingredients into the bowl. Next, we're going to put on our stand mixer for about 3 minutes to combine the wet ingredients with the flour. That's on about a medium speed. Then little by little, we're going to add our 50 grams of butter. You're going to notice that at this time, your bowl's getting pretty sticky with the butter, but by the time it's all combined, that bowl is going to be cleaner than your teenager's bedroom. Once you've got this, there's a little trick you can do to make sure your dough is fully done. Take a little piece and stretch it out as thin as possible, and if it stretches without tearing, you've just passed the window pane test. Now, we're going to cut the dough, one slice one way, one slice the other way, and this is just going to make it easier to get a rectangular shape later. And in the bowl it goes. Now we're going to cover this and let this proof in a warm place for about an hour or double in size, and then in the fridge for 3 hours. Now you want to fold your parchment paper so that you've got a nice perfect square in the middle. This is where all that butter is going to go. One by one, we're going to place those pieces of butter onto your parchment paper, and this is going to be what they call a butter block. You're going to wrap that up like a Christmas present, fold it over. Usually I tap it with a rolling pin first, help spread it out a little bit, and then we go ahead with our rolling. And the key here is you want to make sure that all that butter gets evenly distributed, even into the corners. Now you can put that in your fridge to harden up. Now with a lightly floured surface, we're going to take our dough and spread it out evenly, making a nice big rectangular shape. Then you can compare it with your butter. We're going to take that parchment paper off, and the key here is to make sure you've got enough dough to fold over on the edges. If you don't have enough, just flatten it a little bit more. Now we're going to go ahead with another roll. We're going to roll it out thin and fold one side over, and then the other side gets folded right over top of the first one. This is the folding technique we're going to stick with to make this nice and simple as a nice beginner's guide. You can cut down the sides if you want. That tends to make it bake more evenly. Now we're going to wrap it up in some saran wrap and place it in the fridge for 45 minutes. With croissants, you generally want to make sure that your dough is cool at all times. Now take it back out of the fridge. You can lightly flour it if you want to. Then we're going to roll it out to a long rectangular shape. And again, we're going to do one fold over, about a third of the way. Then fold your other side over top of that, wrap it up in saran wrap, and back in the fridge it goes for 45 minutes. Now for the last time, we're going to take that dough out of the fridge, roll it out into a nice thin rectangular shape like this. And for the last time, we're going to do that simple fold again. One side down, 2/3 of the way, and then your other side goes over top of the first. Wrap it up in that same saran wrap and put it in the fridge for, you guessed it, 45 minutes. Now we're going to roll this out to a nice rectangular shape. This is the preparation to finally make our croissants. You're going to want to roll this out about maybe 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick. Generally, I square off the edges like this, and don't throw that away. You can make some nice braided croissants with that. Don't let it go to waste. Now, we're going to cut our rectangles first, and then we're going to come back and do our right triangle. Now, to form the croissant, we're going to gently stretch our dough, stretch our end, and roll it up like so. And there you go. You have your first croissant. And there it is from a different angle. Perfect croissants every time. We're going to put that on parchment paper and let them proof for about 2 hours. Now, when they're almost done, we're going to make our egg wash. This is 2 eggs, a 1/4 cup of cream. We're going to give that a good stir to combine. And like my daughter always says, we're going to paint that onto our croissants. You want to paint it on the smooth sides and kind of try to stay away from the layered side. Now they go in the oven at 400 degrees for 18 to 20 minutes until they look golden and crispy just like this. We're going to cut one open and see what it looks like inside. This is what you're looking for. You can get creative with this and do a bunch of different types. I did some with pistachio cream and of course chocolate. And let me know if this guide was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe so I can see you on the next one.